Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode in our Meet the Ventures series for the BLAB 2020 cohort. Today, we're here with Ubica. So, to start us off, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourselves?
Yeah, so my name is Nkanyi So. Um, yeah, I'm part of this team called Ubica. I'm originally from Durban, South Africa. I recently just graduated, class of 2020, in computer science, specifically like the design track. So that's a little bit about my surface level background.
Yeah, and I'm Sam. I'm the other co-founder. I was born and raised in San Diego, California. I graduated about a year ago, and I concentrated in cognitive science.
Well, the two of you certainly have very interesting backgrounds. And how did the two of you end up meeting?
We met in line at the Ratty.
Nah, that's a lie. We actually made it a class by Professor Fleeta. My freshman spring, Sam's sophomore spring, and yeah, we both. I don't think we really knew what we were trying to do in the class. We had to like do a final project, and we both kind of like. I think Sam just wanted to. If I remember correctly, he wanted to just design something. So he was really open to just being a part of any team, but he just wanted to do design. And I was coming off of Innovation Dojo my first semester, and I was like had all these like I was still in love with my idea from the semester before, and then I was like, okay, cool. There's this guy who just wants to design something, and I have this idea, and then yeah, I mean we just hit it off. Both very similar, both enjoy some good banter, so that was just been working together ever since. Took more classes together, and yeah.
Well, isn't that sweet? So, why don't you guys tell me a little bit more about Ubica?
With Ubica, we're really trying to build a platform for people to easily and quickly create and share events. I think that's the simplest way of putting it. Yeah, we'll see how it goes and how BLab progresses. We'll probably iterate on that.
Well, a startup is always reinventing itself and pivoting. So, at what point did you guys know you wanted to take this venture outside the classroom and really start your own business together?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I knew straight after I think the class without that we took. I think for a while I was always interested. I knew I wanted to find a. I was always eager to start something, but I think I hadn't found the right problem, and I also like hadn't found the right situation, like maybe even with a team or someone else who was on the wave, because it didn't make sense to pursue something alone. So I think when I met Sam, yeah, it just felt like I'm still a first year. I'm just finishing first year, and it was like, you know what, like this is interesting. And I felt like after the class that we took together, it felt like we weren't finished. So it was like, there was more to do. Even if I didn't think at the time this year was going to be like a startup. To be honest, long story short, I was thinking of it as like a design portfolio piece. Like if I could have that as a design portfolio piece, that would be really cool. And then it just kind of turned out that there was a bigger problem space. Yeah, we were in a bigger problem space. Yeah.
And why is this problem important?
That's a great question. The thing with events is that it's all over the place. I think the reason we were drawn to this was because we were really having a hard time finding events near us if we weren't wired into like 6 or 7 different platforms. And in the current incarnation, it's like uh, we feel that events could be a lot easier to create, a lot easier to share. There's a lot of work to be done in that space, and I think it's one of those frontiers where like no one has really contended. No one, people have attempted and failed, and just a challenge like that makes it really interesting.
It certainly sounds like so. And who's your current target market?
It's an interesting one. I don't think we've even figured that one out just yet, but I think if we had to go for one, it's probably organization leaders on campus. I think they would really benefit from a product like this. They seem to be having problems organizing events and sharing the events, mostly with the sharing aspect. So yeah, I think those are our target customers just for now.
That's good. That certainly seems interesting. And who or what inspires you in your venture right now?
The people that I read about and like looked up to growing up, I feel like knew less than I did when they were starting what they started. So that gives me like extreme confidence to be like, if you're a big Henry Ford fan, if you like contemporary like Elon Musk or any of those guys, or even older heads, it's like, as much as those guys knew a lot, it's like we have the benefit of like not just having more information, both failures and successes, but also just having more tools to execute. So even if it can be a bit kind of reckless and, a bit risky, and sometimes you feel delusional for trying to pursue things, now more than ever, it's like, I don't say like, why not? But I think, being the position that we're in, it's like, yeah, I think the position that we're in, I think more than anything else, like being a Brown, having the Nelson Sen and the B Lab, it's like, man, like if you got an idea, if you got something, you like just hit 20 something, it's like, hey, like you really have nothing to lose. Or you have less to lose, right? I don't want to speak for everyone, but it's like, if you have the opportunity, I think you owe it to yourself to kind of have as little regrets as possible.
Well, that sure is inspiring. And what are you guys working on right now for your venture?
Customer discovery, I think, is a really important part of that early research that we're doing. So customer discovery, a lot of customer interviews. I think the goal by the end of the week is to talk to as many people as possible. And just quickly iterate. If anything, over the last week, we've kind of proven that our development skills have like really improved substantially. So, the product, like, it's whatever, but it's finding these insights and finding these nuggets from conversations we have with actual users that's it's going to really help us down the line. So that's at least what I'm working on, or we're really pushing for.
Sounds good enough to me. And what is something surprising that has happened so far in the development of your venture?
So I just graduated, but I'm in my freshman spring, and we've just been working essentially in the loosest term possible on Ubica, but in the literal sense, not so much because it's not the same thing. But yeah, I only learned to code like sophomore year probably, or like I guess kind of end of freshman year, but probably sophomore year. And I think just seeing kind of what Sam said about our development skills, like I haven't realized the growth until now, because like we're able to do a lot more. Like things we can do in a day to 2 days is like stuff that would have taken us 7 months, just because we were learning something completely new. And like it's kind of like a kid trying to like I don't know code like a basic app. It's like just stupid mistakes and stuff. And now to think that going from an idea to like a prototype is like a fully functional prototype can take you like 2 days now, which is crazy. Because solving a bug in 2 days, like 2 years ago, would have been ridiculous. Like, damn, we could solve a bug in 2 days, and now it's like, I think for me that's kind of surprised me. Cause I always felt confident about our design skills, but I think the development progression, I think that's pretty. Like, I was surprised at how much that's improved.
Well, it's great to see you guys growing and developing, and with that, your skills too. So, how is B-Lab helping you achieve success for Ubica?
It's a great question. If anything, it's like kind of giving us a nice space to kind of work on it, a nice time frame as well, to really do things in like chunks and weeks, right? So 1 week we'll really focus on customer development, customer discovery, a lot of research. Also the community. I think it's really helpful finding other like entrepreneurs on campus who are just pretty supportive of each other.
Yeah. I think I think just the people. I think introducing other people to the process of working on a venture is helpful, just because I think if it's just two people, I think two people can't make a good venture. As much as you're driven by the customer you're trying to solve the problem to, I think just like other opinions from people who think in the same mind frame as you, even if they're not like exactly the same. I think it's like a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you, because you don't want to keep breathing the same air between each other the whole time.
Well, it's always important to have a fresh set of eyes on your venture. So just for our final question, what's the latest TV show you've been watching in quarantine?
I haven't really been watching anything recently. I've been doing more reading. I've been trying to do a lot more reading, so that's kind of what I'm focused on.
What have you been reading then?
What I've been reading Barbarian Days by William Finnegan. That's a pretty good memoir on surfing life. But
I've been on YouTube, so I've been watching a lot of DJ Vlad TV.
Well, thank you both so much for your time, and this has been another episode in our Meet the Venture series for the BLAB 2020 cohort. Today, we have just learned more about Ubica, a venture that seeks to become a new database for events. We hope to see you next week, and thank you so much for tuning in.